Good morning, Pulsicans. How are we doing out there today in crypto land on these red days, these red weeks, these red months? Are you guys holding up okay? Are you guys out there creating more value in the world, touching some grass to be able to bring some of that economic energy in and dollar cost average in at these bottom lows? Guys, welcome to the DeFi Crypto Alliance show, where we are doing our best to bring our entrepreneur friends along for this wealth creation ride, where we're going to be combining cryptocurrency as a wealth creation tool and then using some real world assets on the back end as some wealth preservation, and do that while not paying taxes. So we are working on a trust right now with a financial advisor who will be able to create this structure for you guys. If you're interested, hit us up and let us know if you are interested. It'd be a great way to take profits at the top of the bull and then roll that over, of course, into some real world assets without paying some capital gains at that time. So basically your tax is deferred until you want to take that money and put it in your bank. So it's a really cool product. Obviously there's fees associated to it, but the fees aren't near as much as the check you would cut to the three-letter agency. So guys, how are we doing out there in crypto land? I figure I'd just do a quick show today. I'm not sure if Dane's going to be hopping on today or not. I sent him a message, got no response, and I figure I'd just come hop on and check in with everybody and see how you guys are feeling. We got another small red day in the PulseChain world. I really liked the Ivan on Tech video where he's talking about like literally the greatest asset we have right now is Sommi. And I know like there's a lot of mixed feelings out there in the crypto space about Sommi, you know, especially in our ecosystem. I notice a lot of the OGs don't like him, which is it's kind of BS in my opinion, because he does more marketing and more videos than any other influencer that I know. And in fact, I think I've told you guys this before, though, when I was, kind of going through the SEC FUD back in whenever that was, it was last year. Him and Randy Hilarski is what kept my resolve, right? Kept me from capitulating. I would watch their videos on the daily, and Sommi, man, he just had so much great content that it kept my faith alive. You know, even people who have diamond hands and believe, we even get a little shaken sometimes, right? Obviously, when the SEC FUD is not a normal event, so of course, you know, I felt a little shaken. I didn't capitulate, and part of the reason was because of the Sommi videos that I was watching every single day. He's probably one of the best influencer in our space, if not in crypto, in my opinion. He has a vast knowledge of the crypto space, markets, how markets operate, tracking when, altcoin season is. In fact, he called the top on the day, basically, on the PulseChain ecosystem when he figured it topped out. He had mentioned it topped. We're going to go into I can't remember what the next phase of that chart is, the Wall Street cheat sheet after the top. But he had called the top on the day, and after we did our 5x. So so I think he's a valuable asset too. Ivan on Tech also thinks he's a valuable asset, saying that he is, the number one thing that we need to protect right now in our ecosystem, because RH is not streaming right now because of obviously the clarity from the lawsuit in the SEC. So I feel like Sommi is the number one influencer in the PulseChain ecosystem. And how many more people did he keep from capitulating and bring people into the ecosystem, new people from his thousands of videos? I mean, it's amazing. The guy's an unstoppable machine. So guys, be kind to the man. Even if you don't like him, that's fine. If you don't like him, you don't got to like everybody. But you don't have to go out there and talk a bunch of shit either, right? Like, you just keep that stuff to yourself. I got a lot of people I don't like, on Twitter and in the PulseChain ecosystem, when I don't go out there and just talk shit to them and fight with them all day long. It's just not how I roll. You don't need to do the same if you don't like Sommi. He's a valuable asset to the ecosystem. I agree with Ivan on Tech. And so, yeah. So what's going on, guys? How we doing? I just wanted we're going to be doing a quick video today. Like I said, Dane probably won't be joining us. Not sure where he is at. Shot him a message, and we'll see if he pops in here. But let's touch with the chat with you guys. Red Squirrel, what up, my man? Oi, oi. Yeah, what's going on, brother? How you been, man? Long time no talk to. Team RH Staker. Yo, yo, what's going on, my friend? How you doing? Urban Productions, man. How you doing, bro? Still not scammed on Solid X. Still holding. I think we're at like $15. Let me look. I am curious. For some reason, every time I see Urban Productions, is what I think of a Solid X chart. $15.54. Yeah, man. I accumulated a little bit more about a week or 2 weeks ago when we hit that $13 low. Threw a couple dollars at it. Let's see what happens. I mean, I don't know. We'll see if it gets pumped to the moon from the firewall. If it doesn't, I have most of my money in RH core assets. So, yeah, man, just not a lot going on in crypto as a whole. We're kind of in a lull. Probably all the way into September, maybe even towards the end of September or beginning of October. I was watching or going through Colin Talks Crypto and some of his content, and he was talking about Bitcoin basically not doing anything all the way into the middle of end of September. And if Bitcoin's not going to do anything, then none of the altcoins are going to do anything either, right? And the next altcoin season, and this is from multiple people who are smarter than me, like Sommi, Hans, Pip Sniper. These guys are like really smart with a TA analysis, understanding markets and cycles. Saying that next altcoin season is going to start October, November, or the local top would be somewhere in December, January, maybe February. Who knows? You'd have like that normal 80% correction, and then you would have your final wave, if you will, in the middle of somewhere of 2025. So right now it's extremely boring. It's just chill, go out, touch grass, spend time with your family, hang out with your loved ones. If you can try to create a business to bring more economic energy into crypto, ideally that's always a good play, especially while we're down here in these bottoms. If you have a 9 to 5, maybe ask your boss for some overtime. Ask him for a raise. If he fires you, it gives you a reason to go out and create a business. So that's my opinion. Head down and building, Cordy. Yeah, man. I would love more information what you're building on. I know you got the Red Squirrel NFTs and all that. It'd be interesting to know what you got going on. I love builders in the ecosystem. They are what make PulseChain. They have literally dragged us through this bear market is the builders, man. And that's the other thing, guys. If you don't got to like all the builders, right? I get it. But you also don't got to talk trash about them on Twitter all day long when they're literally building on the chain that you love and the chain that you have money invested on. Don't talk trash about them. And these guys are literally dragging us through the bear market, by the horns, if you will, and building great protocols. I mean, PulseChain is emerging just spectacularly, in my opinion. I think a lot of stuff is going on. And I don't know. So, to see all these guys on Twitter fudding and talking crap about like some of these builders, I don't get it. Go to another chain, right? Go somewhere else where there's all these VCs and these unlocks and everything else. I mean, I feel like we have the fairest playground that you can play on is in PulseChain. I just don't understand. And like I said, there's other ecosystems. You don't have to like our ecosystem. You could have started in our ecosystem, invested, and you can go to other chains. I mean, Solana obviously is like the meme coin chain right now. I mean, be careful. You can get rugged really easy. It seems like 9 out of 10 coins launching over there are rugs. But I mean, you can go over there and start building, right? And hopefully you can get some traction. But you don't have to stay on PulseChain if you don't like it. And at least don't talk about the builders who are building. These guys are the rock of PulseChain, right? Just how Sommi's kind of the rock of the YouTube influencers, the builders are the rock of like getting this chain emerged and giving it some utility. So yeah, guys. So be kind. You know, don't go trash talking just because you don't like them. Doesn't mean you got to trash talk them. Like I said, there's a lot of guys on Twitter I don't like, and I don't go in there and fight with them and get all toxic with them. It's just not the way I roll. So boredom. Oh, you got that right, Crypto Land. It is boring. I do have some yield farms set up. I have the PulseX in Ink yield farm. And I'm enjoying that. You know, that's kind of keeping me a little bit occupied. I don't know if you guys have heard of this protocol. It's been around since I think about a year. It's been out for a long time. It's called IMPLS, and I'm using that protocol right now. What I like about it is it's another front end for obviously your PulseX farms, your 9-inch farms, and it's just an auto compounder. Until Tetra launches what they got going on, I like everything that Tetra is doing, but who knows when they're going to launch? It seems like they've I don't know what's going on with these guys. It's taking them forever. Last time I heard, it was supposed to be around after the Bitcoin halving they were launching. I don't know, and I feel like the token price is suffering because of it. But IMPLS, it does it, and it's all it does though, right? Like there's not other stuff you can do like you can in Tetra, but like it's all it does. It's an auto compounder. So you know, from your yield that you're making, whatever farm you in, whether it be 9-inch, whether it be PulseX, it's going to take that yield and then it's going to auto compound it back into the LP token. And so that way you're consistently growing that bag without you having to go in there and do it yourself and worrying about it. And what I like about that is if you say you suffer a little bit of permanent loss, like right now, I'm a little bit offside on the PulseX side because the chart's been going down. Ink versus Pulse has been going down. So I've been getting more ink and selling the PulseX on the impermanent loss. But the cool part is since I've been auto compounding and I've had this farm open for like 3 months, that auto compound adding into my PulseX bag has pretty much made up for the small impermanent loss that I've taken there. So I like that part. I don't even have to think about it. It does it automatically. Now there is a little fee associated to it, but then they have their own incentive token. Do your own research, do your own due diligence. Obviously, go and see if it's something that you'd be worth your time and energy. I like it. Doesn't mean it's the right protocol for you, right? So go out and do your own due diligence. It's never financial advice. For all we know, they could pulse Latina tomorrow. And I'd be like, crap, well, that sucked. But they've been around for a year. They got audits, all that stuff. I figure like after a year, if they would have pulsed Latina us, it would have happened by now. So I would have think it'd be happened by now. And one of my really close friends uses it, and he's the one that kind of told me about it. So I'm enjoying it, at least until Tetra launches. When Tetra launches, I'll end up utilizing those guys. I still own the Tetra token, so we'll see what happens over there. I'm interested in that protocol if it ever gets out. So another cool protocol, like speaking of protocols launching, another really cool one done by Jexa. And let me see what the name of it is. As you guys might know about Project Pi. Project Pi is a liquid staking protocol where basically you could stake your pulse and the node validators will generate the passive income for you, and then it's paid into a pool, and then you have a token that represents your position in that pool. What's cool about that is that you can take that liquid token now that represents your node validators, and you can go and yield farm with it. You can pair it up with Pulse. You can do whatever. It's now a buy and sellable asset, which is really cool. But I'm going to have Jexa on. Jexa's got another protocol that's very similar to the Project Pi. I'm going to find the name right now, and they're building it. It's another liquid staking protocol, which I really like. I like the liquid staking protocols because, not everybody has the know-how to go and spin up a node validator or wants to know how to do it. It does take a little bit of a work. Usually you got to know Linux. You got to, have a machine that's able to run these things. I mean, it doesn't need an expensive machine or anything, but there's a process to it. And so, not everybody is cut out to be a node validator. With something like this, it allows the average retail user to come in, and they can have less pulse than the required amount, which is 32 million pulse. I do believe 16 million is a required amount. And I like that part. And my phone's not loading right now, so I want to get the name for you guys because I don't know why my phone's not loading. It's weird. Give it another minute. But it gives you the capability of going in and out of the node validator pools, or if you just want to sell the token itself, the token itself should represent your pulse that you deposited into the pool plus the yield that's in the pool or that it's been accumulating in said pool. Well, that token, it should represent the price of the pulse and the yield. Now, obviously, it's probably a volatile token, so there'll be times where it's overvalued and undervalued, but in general, it should hover around that price. And then, so I mean, instead of waiting to exit your node validators, I guess you could just go in and sell the token, and that could be a way of grabbing some liquidity back, or you could go in and deposit it back into the pool and get your pulse back plus the yield. And then, of course, I do believe he's going to have an incentive token built on top. And I'm going to have him on the show too, guys. I'm in talks with him right now. It's called Vouch, VOUCH. So how it works is you're going to deposit your pulse into the pool, right? They'll have a front end. And then the node validators will pick up that pulse and they're going to start validating the blocks, right? You'll receive V-Pulse in return. The V-Pulse is like a receipt token, but it's a token that it's a normal token that you can go and buy and sell on a decentralized exchange. You could create a liquidity pool. You might be able to, farm if like 2Fucks goes and opens a pool. And in fact, I do believe they are in talks with him about opening up a pool. But these liquid staking derivatives, guys, are kind of the new buzz, I feel like, in this market cycle. And if we can get more of these on PulseChain, well, this shows, we're growing up. We're big boys over here. And we got some cool stuff that's coming that allows people, they either doesn't want to run a node validator and go through the headache. Maybe they have a lot of pulse. Still matter. They're like, oh my God, I am not going to spin up a server and learn all this jargon that I have to input in. Or for somebody who just doesn't have the amount of pulse, right? Like not everybody, especially when pulse starts pumping, is going to be able to afford 32 million pulse. Like right now, it's pretty affordable. Like almost anybody, I'd say most people, right? 95% who are investing in crypto or investing in PulseChain probably could afford at least one node validator. That's not always going to be the case, in my opinion. So that's where this stuff really comes in, where, it gives them the ability to make some yield on their pulse and not have to put up with all the headache of spinning up the node validator, updating the clients. I did it, guys, on V4. So V4, is that the last test net? I think it was the last test net. Was V4. Can't remember how many test nets we had anymore. But I did just that, right? Like I spun up a node validator. I put all my test pulse in there. I was updating clients when they were doing that. It's a pain in the butt to keep it. I mean, once it's going, it's running, but you have to maintain it. And then when I moved to Puerto Rico, I was like, oh man, my internet sucks. Like yesterday, I didn't do a stream because my power was out for 18 hours. I think it was a result from the storm that we just had. Although the storm was a week ago. I don't know why freaking a week later the power goes out. Like, come on, guys, get your shit together. God, it's a lot of money here flooding into the island and they can't fix the infrastructure. Jeez, pain in my ass. But I didn't want to deal with the uncertainty of internet always going down, power always going down with my node validators. And so that's where David Feeder came in. He's another great option if you're not wanting to deal with the headaches of running these validators. He has where you can rent his cloud out, if you will. It's on his private servers. You have to be okay with that. But you retain the keys to your crypto. The rewards drips into your wallet. And so that's the way I'm node validating right now, is I'm utilizing his servers. You pay a small fee for it. No big deal. Depending on how many node validators you have, it can make it worth it. And that's how I'm running my node validators, just because of the uncertainty of Puerto Rico and what's, the internet and the electricity out here. And then he also has where you can buy the actual machines that come, I think, pre-ready to spin up a node validator. But then you got to maintain and all that. But then you can maybe utilize him, obviously, for an hourly fee to help you maintain those said node validators. But this stuff here, Vouch and Project Pi, what's really cool about it is that you don't have to worry about any of this stuff, right? You just go and put your pulse in the pool and get your rewards, or just sell the incentives. I really love this, guys. The liquid staking derivatives is a game changer. It shows that we're growing up on PulseChain. It gives convenience to new users, especially if the price is pumping. And yeah, it's just cool. It's cool that we have builders like this. So Jexa is the founder for that. We're going to have him on the show whenever we can pencil him in. He's on the other side of the world, and so it makes it hard for us to link up times. I think right now it's like night time for him. He's probably sleeping. So yeah, it'll be good. Another thing, cool thing. Imagine taking and I'm not using Project Pi, but imagine taking their liquid staking derivative token. They should have one. I got to do a little more research on it, but imagine taking 2 liquid staking derivative tokens and the actual layer 1, and you could create this like Fux farm with that. Imagine if we had 4 or 5 liquid staking derivatives generating yield in the background. You pair it up a pulse, right? And then now you're generating this yield that should stay in pretty, they should stay together as far as like, the ratios. Now obviously it's crypto, so you're going to have days where it's overvalued, undervalued, like anything else, but it should stay together. And that's where it really gets interesting for me. It's almost like the maxi pool on 2Fux. So you got your maxi that's making yield from the hex, the different staked links in hex, right? That's generating yield, and then they're all together generating more yield on 2Fux. It's just, and they should generally stay in pretty, the ratio shouldn't move too much. Although I can see the maxi pools moving a little bit more because the liquidity is so thin than maybe this stuff, but they should stay in range, right? And especially if you're just going to let it sit and cook for a while, you should do okay without much impermanent loss. In fact, that yield from both, the underlying asset and the 2Fux, if there's a farm for it, which I think there will be, should do really, really well for you and offset any kind of permanent loss. So I'm definitely interested in you. I've been talking about it for about 10 minutes. I'm excited about it. So yeah, it'd be cool to pair these up with all these other liquid staking derivatives. And yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. So, all right, let's go back to the chat. Trinity, collab between myself, Sloth, and Hexecutioner. Yeah, I love all those guys. Sloth's an awesome person, man. He's also does a lot of YouTube, a lot of great content. It's like the liquidity providing king, right? I've learned a lot of stuff from him. And the Hexecutioner, man, I remember him back from the Hedron and Icosa days. He was like in the chats, running the Telegram chats, man. Good dude. Really good dude. This is the boring phase. Yeah, man. Just go and create some yield farms, dollar cost average in, go create real value in the world, bring that real value back. This is when you're supposed to be buying, right? Historically, this is when you buy, is when it's most boring. It's running sideways, might, go down a little bit because of full moons or whatever else, or because Soda Chronicles on Twitter says. I tell you guys, I feel like we take price drops when Soda Chronicles calls the price drop because it's self-fulfilling, right? Like then everyone runs to their computer and sells. And I don't know if that's the actual, but it seems like that's the case when I observe it. But maybe he's just good at calling the drops. I do like his content, so I'm not talking trash about him or anything. He does provide value, in my opinion, to the community. So, but yeah, extremely boring phase. Do you think it will be a repeat of the BTC ETH altcoin pump cycle? Yeah, man. I mean, here's the thing. Our little pre-Bitcoin having altcoin season, where everything else went up. Now, obviously, Solana was the king of that little pre-pump season. Solana did like, I don't know what it was, 17, 20x. I can't remember. But it was the layer one that did the most gains. But then you have like, AVAX, Phantom, they did like a 3x, 3 to 5x. Well, PulseChain right on cue with everything else. Whether somebody was in the background pumping or not, don't matter to me. But it followed right in synchronicity with the altcoin season. It did a 5x from the bottom. PulseChain did a 5x from the bottom. And PulseX did like, I don't know, it was good. It was like between like a 9 to 13x. I can't remember what it was exactly from the bottom, right? And then Ink did the most. It was like 17 to 20x, and that's probably because it was the most undervalued. Like people were selling that thing down when we're in that bear market there, all the way down to 40 something cents. Man, I wish I would have gone heavy then. That's all right. I got a bag now, but yeah, all those things pumped, man. And then when that pumped, you saw all the other meme coins like HOA, man, freaking ripped, right? Solid X ripped. One could argue, oh, well, that was because Fire was pumping it. Don't matter, man. It's falling right in line with the rest of the cycle. And now everything's low, and he can pump it right now, but he's not because it's the timing. But a lot of meme coins were ripping on top of PulseChain. And if you were in the right ones, you could have made some pretty good money. Teddy Bear is another one. Obviously, P-Dye did a freaking 5,000x. Like, what the hell? Like, what? That's just insanity to me, right? So I mean, we're anything but dead. I mean, it's crazy. There's a lot of opportunity right now on PulseChain. We're just in that boring in between altcoin seasons. So it seems like we are going to move with altcoin season. We did it the first time. We'll see if we do it the second time. I think the second time, what could really facilitate this is obviously RH and his court case, getting some clarity there. Him streaming again would be cool if he was streaming after there was clarity in the court case. And then, we need ETH. We need ETH to go. That's probably the biggest factor. I would say Ethereum is going to initiate an altcoin season in all these different layer ones, even the ones that are not too interesting, like Kronos, something like that. I believe that we will see the altcoin season pump at the end of the year, and I feel like we'll follow suit just because of all the stuff that's lining up with PulseChain. So yeah, we're just a big leverage play on ETH, man. That's it. What up, Tin Top, man? How's that heat out in Arizona, man? Yeah, it's brutal. I think I'll be out there, man, in December, which is a good time to go to Arizona, right? You go to Arizona in December, and that's when it's the coolest, and that's when, we'll probably be out there for a month. So if you want to go out and have some lunch, man, we'd love to meet up with it. Oh, there he is. What up, Dane? How you doing,
Corey? Doing great. I'm sorry I'm a little late. I'm working. I had a really great call. And one of the things, I mean, you guys know us. We talk about this all the time, but gosh, we're trying really hard to integrate with other communities, typically outside of cryptocurrency, to teach them about the opportunity here and what's going on. I just got off a really cool call with a guy. They specialize in helping people pay off their mortgage early. So they have 5,000 community members, and their goal is to help them pay their house off in 10 years or less. And so we had an hour and a half long conversation about crypto, about how to approach it, about how to mitigate risk and manage things well. And he was really interested. And so we have a follow-up call next week and see if there isn't some ways that we could start getting some of them integrated. So really exciting.
That's great, man. I love that, especially since he has a community that we might be able to tap into also, right? Like and onboard some of those guys.
A lot of people to serve, right?
A lot of people to serve. Yep. That's amazing. We're just I just decided to do a quick show, talk about how I really liked how Ivan on Tech said Sommi is our most valuable asset right now. And I agree. I agree 100% cold-heartedly. He is our most valuable asset in PulseChain until RH returns. Again, that's just my opinion. I even told the story, like, when the SEC FUD happened last year, like I remember my stomach like turning to the point where I wanted to throw up and I questioned, whether or not I was doing the right things or not with my investments. And it was through his videos. It was also through Randy Hilarski. I give him a shout out and give him credit too. But it was Sommi, man. Sommi helped me keep my resolve. Like,
Agreed.
brought me
Yeah,
through
me too.
there. Yeah. So
Mm.
I don't know why some people trash him, where he does the most marketing, the most onboarding through YouTube. I don't know if he's the most onboarding in general, but definitely through YouTube. And then the most, just keeping people's, kind of head, on their shoulders intact in believing. And I feel like the guy's a good knowledge of markets. And so, yeah, I wanted this show was kind of more dedicated to him, talking about like what he does for the community. And yeah, between him and the builders. So you got him for YouTube, right? Who's the king YouTube guy. Then you have the builders. The builders are, also what has been dragging us through, not only this bear market, but the SEC FUD. So like that's kind of what we've been talking about a little bit.
It's great. Yeah, I can't believe the volume at which he puts out videos. It's freaking bananas.
I thought he was AI for the longest time, to be honest with you.
You don't think
I
so
don't believe
anymore?
it anymore.
What changed your thoughts there?
I don't believe it anymore. I because he has such a history in the space. Like he showed.
Here, I'll be right back. Keep going.
Go ahead. Go ahead. He has a history in the space where he has old tweets from when he first got into crypto back in I think it was 2 cycles ago. Might have been 1 cycle ago. Not sure. But for example, he wasn't an RH fan in the beginning, and he has tweets that show that he was not an RH fan, and he was actually fighting RH in the very early days, and which is fine. I mean, not everybody. RH is not everyone's cup of tea, especially in the beginning. He kind of has to grow on you. The community has to grow on you. You have to learn how to spot that opportunity that is here, that we see, that we all see here in the chat, right? And so that type of content for me that he's been around shows me that he's not AI. And just his videos now, man, he has a lot of I don't know. There, in the beginning, I thought I would look in the videos to try to find pieces that would be like AI, but I don't know. It's just I'm 90% sure he's not AI. There is that 10% that could still maybe he is. So we will see one day if he were to ever come on live stream. I think he did a stream with Corey Costa one time, if I'm not mistaken. I need to go back and watch that. I didn't see it. I've asked him a couple times to come on our stream. If any of you guys have any conversation with him, I would love to be to have him on our stream and host a show where we have a normal conversation about, crypto, his journey in crypto, his journey investing, how he learned about markets. That would be freaking awesome. That would be the next best thing to have an RH in our show, right? I don't ever expect to have RH in our show, but that would be the coolest thing in the world if it ever could happen one day. The next best thing would be Sommi. If I could get Sommi on the show, for me, that would be the coolest thing. And then I would eliminate the last 10% of my doubt that he is an AI. There is still a 10% there. I'm but I'm 90% sure. So
that's funny. Yeah. That's good. I mean, I don't know if you pulled up any of the charts, but it's really fascinating to see the charts just kind of running sideways. I know a few of the bigger caps. What is this? I mean, we've essentially been sideways since the 13th. So what is that? It's about a week.
yeah.
And I see a lot of people talking about, some of the big Bitcoin guys are talking about on the Bitcoin chart, wanted to come in and fill some of those fair value gaps on the chart. So that's where you have some of these guys calling for I think it's 40-ish K, low 40s Bitcoin. And if we really do get one last big push down to there, I think you'd probably see the bottoming on just about everything before we headed up. And some people are thinking that if that is going to occur, that it'll occur, in the next 14 to 30 days. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see, but theoretically a lot greener pastures, maybe September, October-ish. It's good. Hardest part about being a good investor is the times where you have to sit on your hands.
just boring, man. We
It's
talked
boring.
about that. Yeah, it's just like, what do you do during this time? Obviously, you can yield farm. I feel like this is a time to be yield farming if you're going to do it. Be careful, you can get wrecked. This is never financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, right? Like, this is what I do with my money, but like, you got to be careful. But yeah, it's yield farming when things are running sideways. Like, yeah, have at it if you want, right? And then dollar cost averaging in. Yeah, and go out and create value in the real world. Become an entrepreneur. Bring in new money in your life. Bring in new value in your life so you can go in, distribute it in crypto, and then use crypto as a leverage of that value to change your life. So that's what this time is for. That's it. And go spend time with loved ones and family members and create memories. That's what this is for. This is, not to be staring at Twitter all day, fighting with people and being toxic and like freaking. That was another thing I said, Dan. Like, look, if you don't like Sommi, it's fine, but you don't have to go on Twitter and YouTube shows and MF the guy and talk shit about him all day long.
Yeah.
Like, dude, there's a lot of guys on Twitter that I don't like, but I don't get into with them. I don't say anything. I keep my mouth shut, man. I'm
You
in the
don't
back.
spend all your waking hours thinking about them and commenting on their posts.
And get out of here. Like, just whatever, dude. Like, yeah, there's always look, everyone's gonna be your cup of tea, and that's fine. Doesn't mean you need to go and MF them all over the internet. It's just how it goes. Like, why?
Yep. I think this is really good. Oliver's comment. Yeah, man, it hurts right now. And I told myself enough is enough. I'm
I know,
not
me
buying more
too.
crypto, but right now I'm
Oh,
planning another
Oliver,
DCA.
for the last 3 months, I have told myself this is the last one. And here I am. I got stable coin sitting on chain right now, ready to be deployed. I haven't deployed them yet.
I'm just sitting on my hands. And the nice thing, once again, you don't have to buy the perfect bottom. Like, you can wait for
No.
more confirmation. And I'm pretty comfy just kind of like waiting.
Now, I tell you, if I see a red candle down, I won't be waiting. I'll be putting that.
Yeah, waiting for a nice big fat red candle.
I just want to, because we're running sideways in this area, and I feel like we're forming a bottom in this area. Like, I could be wrong. I'm always wrong about that. But I mean, maybe it could. But like, it doesn't mean that you don't have like times where you can have a daily red candle where it drops 20, 30, 40. It doesn't mean a whale can't capitulate. It doesn't, right? And so, like, if I can catch one of those, it'd be nice on this DC8. And so I'm just waiting, and yeah, that waiting is good. That's part of the boring part.
Agreed. I mean, during this last like bottoming, you ran relatively sideways for what is that? That one's a 20-day period. If you want to extend this clear out, I mean, freaking 50 days. So it looks like we're just starting to run sideways. I would call it more sideways action for about a week. I guess if you want to include this little tiny pump here, you could kind of call this sideways-ish for 40-ish days. So I mean, that's a pretty interesting one. But I like what Tin Top says here. Yeah, I like this. Waiting till Rectember to deploy. I don't think that's a terrible idea at all.
Yeah. No, I mean, as we know, and we were talking about this earlier too, Dan, altcoin season's not really to be expected towards the end of the year. Like, it might start coming in October or November. Like, who knows, especially if RH gets some clarity on his court case for PulseChain. But like, waiting for Rectember, man, you're not going to miss like some big giant pump to the moon. Like, till then, like, you're good. Like, I think you're going to be good. Never financial advice. I could be wrong again. Maybe it does do a 20x tomorrow when we wake up, but I'd be willing to say it's not, and you're going to be fine.
Agreed. This isn't a meme coin, right?
Yeah.
Right. Cool. This has been good, Corey. Yeah. I'm sorry I was late, but I'm glad I could jump in today, man. I'm glad we could do a quick show. Anything else that you want to cover today?
Nah, man, just checking in with all the guys and gals, and just being here. I would say, hey guys, hit the like and subscribe for us. If you're over watching on Twitter, that's fine, but come over and hit the like and subscribe on YouTube for us, because that's really what we're trying to push out and get the algorithm to work on our behalf. And it takes those likes and subscribes. Comment if you're rewatching this replay gang, comment. It also helps the algorithm push it up and let people see. We want to keep bringing the good word of crypto to you guys. And then, also be able to bring the good word of entrepreneurship, real estate, and anything else that we're using as making money or wealth preservation. So other than that, it's about it. And we should be on tomorrow like normal. Like I said, I got Jexa coming on with the vouch protocol, and we should have Coast coming on too to kind of talk about what he's got going on. And both these guys are on the opposite side of the world. So I'm having to play a little juggling with them to get them on. But I don't know if you didn't know, Dame, Jexa, he's a really cool dude. He's in Frank's mastermind, and he created a liquid staking protocol for PulseChain. So you literally can put your pulse in the pool, you get V Pulse back, and that V Pulse is now a cryptocurrency, and you can always turn it back in for your original pulse plus the yield for the node validating. But you could take that V Pulse and now put it in liquidity farms. Maybe you want to tie it in with other liquid staking derivatives. So really cool functionality. It's called Vouch. I want to have him come on. I love stuff like that. It should do as well as Pulse does. Probably not too much more. I mean, whatever the yield is in the pool, but the yield's about 10% a year right now. And then he's also going to have some kind of probably an incentive token built on top. So love that stuff. Going to have him on, talk about it. We need more stuff like that.
Yeah, that's good.
That's it.
This is a good question. In fact, I found a cool graphic here, guys. I'll show you.
In a bull market, yeah, I mean, you can have red months and absolutely in a bull market. But oh yeah, let's look at this.
So this is just a really quick spot check. I have not gone through and verified this data, but on the basis that it is accurate, I mean, you go down here, you can look at the average of the months. September historically is the worst performing month for Bitcoin.
Look at October.
That's really interesting. And October is the second best. Look at that.
October, November, and then
November is the best. Yeah.
Merry Christmas to crypto. Jeez.
That's actually really interesting. Yeah, look at that.
Look at the red on September. Wow.
September, the worst. October, the second best. November, the best. If some of this data holds, then you'd want to potentially look at deploying in September. That'll be interesting.
It's interesting that last year we had a green month on Bitcoin. Then back in 15, there was back-to-back green months. I would have won. What if we repeat that? I don't know.
I could see it. I could see us bottoming. I mean, I think a lot of it, but right here you had back-to-back pretty brutal months here. I was going to say.
Those are brutal. I mean, that's back in 14. Bitcoin was a lot more volatile.
Right.
I mean, that's still brutal. But look up there, even in 22, which was that's in the middle of the bear, you had back-to-back red. And then 23 for Bitcoin, that was the start of the bull. But August got slaughtered in 23, September, and maybe that's interesting. So you had 11% slaughter and then a 4% last year. Right now we have a 7% slaughter. It'll be interesting to see what this September brings us.
And this is it's pretty fascinating. I mean, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4.
But October,
the last 5 years in a row, October's been a real good.
Bring it on. Leading into Halloween. I love that time of year too, man, because it's just a lot of sentiment shift because Christmas is on the horizon, Thanksgiving's in the horizon. You're making plans for trips. You're spending time with family. It's just a great time of the year, man. I love it. In Arizona, it's where things get cool, as Tin Top would know. That's where things start to get. You feel you can go outside and not feel like you're dying. So it's just a great time of the year. And here in Puerto Rico too, Dane, it'll be starting to cool down a little bit. We don't get it's 10 degrees and a little bit less humidity, but we'll get a little relief out of this humidity this year around that time. So yeah, exciting.
It'll be good. Yeah. Cool, guys. Smash the likes and subscribes on your way out. We appreciate you guys. We'll catch you later this week.
See you, mañana.